So I just watched the video of Mitt Romney at his private fundraiser that's been floating around the internet for the last couple of days, and I have rage. To recap, Mittens claims that 47% of voters will vote for President Obama no matter what because they are dependent upon the government, believe the government is responsible for feeding, housing, and caring for them, and see themselves as victims. According to the governor, this 47% of the population pay no income tax and refuse to take responsibility and care for their own lives. And so, without further ado, I present an open letter to Mitt Romney. Mr. Romney, I think I speak for the vast majority of Obama supporters in shouting a resounding "fuck you." You have no fucking clue what the people you're condemning as freeloaders go through each and every day. You have no fucking clue how hard life can be. You have no fucking clue what it's like to work your ass off each and every day, to have even a taste of what you and your twat of a wife were lucky enough to be born into. I know. You like to think of yourself as a self-made man because you gave away your inheritance to charity. Charity, of course, meaning that collective money pit you call a fucking church. Let me clue you in on something, Mitt. You didn't give up a damn thing. You were lucky enough to be born into a family that afforded you the very best of everything. You went to the best schools, had access to the best that technology and education had to offer, and you were given opportunities that most Americans could only dream of. You're not a real American, Mitt. You're a snide, narcissistic, self-important aristocrat. Unlike you, Mitt, my parents don't own a bunch of stocks that I can just sell off to pay for college. My father wasn't a multimillionaire or the governor of Michigan. My father was a drunk and a drug addict who let my family down on more occasions than I really cared to count, and only within the last few years was able to clean up his act to afford my family a halfway decent life. Now, I grew up in a trailer with the floors rotting out. I work 2 jobs just to pay my bills, and I'm gonna have to take out massive student loans just so I can finish college. Now, as much as I'd love to be able to just borrow the money from my parents, as you so kindly suggested, to pay for college, I can't because they can't afford to loan me such huge sums of money at will. Now, you don't know what it means to struggle. You've never been faced with the choice of buying medicine for your children or food so they won't go hungry. You've never been faced with living on the streets because the job you slave away at 40 hours a week doesn't pay you enough to cover your rent. You've never been buried under mountains of medical debt that you couldn't pay because some drunken fuckhead plowed into your car and rendered you immobile for several months or possibly even the rest of your life. If you would just shut the fuck up for 2 seconds and admit that, us people might stop bitching about you. Stop trying to compare our situations to yours. Stop trying to relate to us. Stop trying to convince us you're a self-made man. And for the love of God, tell your wife to stop repeating stories about your college apartment and tuna fish diet to try to win us over. We're smarter than that. Living in an apartment sans multiple Cadillacs and dancing horses during college isn't the real world. You know, I think it would make us all feel marginally better if you could just conjure up some fucking humility, you know, that thing that Jesus talked about, and admit that. To sum this letter up in short, stop being such an arrogant, egocentric cunt.